Today's chapter, excretion.
Let us begin today's class of excretion. Excretion both in plants and animals. Let us first see excretion in animals. In case of human beings or any other organisms, excretion means getting rid of or the removal of the metabolic waste from the body of an organism. Now, if you talk about the unicellular organism like amoeba, the excretion takes place by means of a process which is called as diffusion. But let us talk about multicellular organism and directly the human beings. In case of human beings, as a result of various kinds of metabolic waste like the activities like that of respiration, carbon dioxide is generated, but that is removed by means of the lungs. So lungs also you can consider to be an excretory organ of human beings. But the primary excretory organ in case of human beings is a pair of kidney. Now this pair of kidney lies in the pelvic region of our body. You can see the shape of the kidney. It looks like that of a rajma or kidney bean as we call it. Now the left kidney is slightly elevated compared to that of the right kidney. The reason is because in the right kidney, in the right hand position, we have the liver, the stomach and all. So because of which the right kidney is slightly lower compared to that of the left kidney. Now from the kidney arises two tubes. Now these two long tubes, these are called the ureters. Now what is the function of this ureters? When the kidney filter the blood, the urine is formed. The urine is collected by means of the various collecting ducts, and those collecting ducts combine to form the ureter, and these two ureters join into the urinary bladder. Now this urinary bladder is a muscular object and it is highly extensible, which can get extended due to the deposition of the urine over there. And when it's a time to void the urine, then the voiding of the urine takes place under the voluntary control of our nervous system. So this is you can say the rough description about the excretory system in human beings. Now, if we do a cross section of a kidney, now inside the kidney, each kidney has 1 million nephrons in it. Now, what is this nephron? Nephron is a functional unit of the excretory system of human beings. Now, how does it looks like? It somewhat looks like this. It is having a cup-like structure. The cup-like structure is called as your Bowman's capsule, and it is extended with a tube-like structure. This is called the tubule. Now the tubule portion, you can see it is not same everywhere. It is somewhat convoluted in the beginning, so which is near to the Bowman's capsule and convoluted, we call this to be the proximal convoluted tubule. And the one which is like a hairpin, now this hairpin or loop-like structure is called as your Henle's loop. And finally again it coils, but this is far from that of the Bowman's capsule, so it is distant. So we call it as distal convoluted tubule. So the tubule has three parts. What are they? Proximal convoluted tubule, Henle's loop, and distal convoluted tubule. So what happens in this nephron is that the blood comes in this nephron with a pressure, and it divides into capillaries. You can see this capillaries over here. Now this capillaries, network of capillaries is called as your glomerulus. So when the blood passes through it, what happens is that it gets filtered, and the filtrate passes through these tubes. Now this filtrate which passes through this tube, it contains glucose, it contains amino acids, it contains the nitrogenous waste, it contains the water, but it does not contains the blood cells, neither it contains the large protein molecules. So while it is passing through this loop or this tubule, many things get reabsorbed. What things get reabsorbed? Firstly, the water gets reabsorbed, and the minerals gets reabsorbed, the useful substances get reabsorbed, and finally when it is reaching to the distal convoluted tubule, then it has nothing but the urea, that is the nitrogenous waste, and some amount of water, which now we can call it as urine. This portion, when the filtrate is coming down, we cannot call it as urine because it has various useful substances which gradually get reabsorbed back. And then finally when it reaches to distal convoluted tubule, then only the substance which will be obtained is what is called as your urine. Now this nephron, this here also one nephron will be connected, here also, here also, here also, will be joined to this common duct. Now this duct is called collecting duct. Now there will be several ducts here. On all those collecting ducts, secretion will fall into the ureter, and now the ureter will be finally carrying the urine into the urinary bladder, and it will be voided out of the body from time to time. The passage of urine from our body, this process is known as your micturition. This is called micturition. An adult human being in a day should drink at least 4 liters of water, that is 8 to 12 glasses of water, but the amount of urine excreted is not that much. How much it is? It is just 1.5 liters, 1 to 1.5 liters of urine per day. So this is about the excretory system in case of human beings, and this is a functional unit of kidney, nephron. The description, which thing is done over here by the nephrons, and now is the you can say the gist of the function of kidney. What does the kidney do? Kidney does 2 things: filtration of blood from the nitrogenous waste and reabsorption of water and minerals. Now this reabsorption of water and minerals is under the influence of a hormone. The name of that hormone is called as your ADH, antidiuretic hormone or vasopressin. It regulates the reabsorption of water and mineral in our body and balances the water in our body. So that is how the excretion takes place in case of human beings. Now this excretory system, which comprises of the kidney are the vital organ. Sometimes it so happens because of malfunctioning of the body, or because of very high blood pressure of the patient, or because of high blood sugar, or any kind of microbial infestation, our kidney stops functioning. Now what will happen then? Because the nitrogenous waste, if it is accumulated, then that may lead to the death of the person even. So the best way is to transplant a kidney, but always it is not possible. The reason is because the donor is not available. Even if the donor is available, sometimes it so happens that matching does not take place. That means we have to match many things here. The blood group has to be matched, the RH factor has to be matched, many things have to be matched. And finally, when the transplantation is done, then sometimes still the body rejects that kidney. So what can we do? So in this case, we have to think about a machine which is called as your artificial kidney. Now this is a hemodialyzing machine. Now what does it mean? The hemodialyzing machine means it will be a tank filled with that of the dialyzing liquid, whose composition will be same like that of the composition of the that is your the things which is going through the filtrate, except that it will not be having the urea in it. It won't be having the urea, it will be having the glucose, the essential amino acids, it will be having the essential salts, water, everything, but it won't be having the nitrogenous waste in it. That is the dialyzing liquid present in this dialyzing machine. And inside it there will be various coiled tubes which will be made up of semi-permeable membrane. And now the patient, in the hand of the patient, where the artery is superficial, there will be a syringe injected through which the blood will be pumped into this dialyzing machine, and when the blood will be passing through those semi-permeable membrane, then by the process of diffusion, the nitrogenous waste, that is the urea, will diffuse out into the dialyzing liquid, and the blood will get purified. And finally, when the blood will get purified, then it will be again pumped back into the vein of the patient. So this is actually the process. But the problem with this machine is that it cannot reabsorb substances, which normally is done in natural way by our nephrons. But still, something is better than nothing. So by the help of this dialyzing machine, a person whose kidney failure has become can get rid of his or her nitrogenous waste.
Excretion in plants.
Like animals, plants also do excretion, because they also do various metabolic activities, isn't it? So excretion in plants is done by 2 methods. That is diffusion of gases and removal of solid metabolic waste, solid as well as liquid metabolic waste. Now, how is the gaseous diffusion done in case of plants? Is by means of certain organs, certain openings present in the plants. Now, what are these openings? Stomata. You have heard about this particular structure present in the leaves and the young parts of the plants, isn't it? Now, the stomata are the pores through which the gaseous diffusion can take place. During the daytime, when the plant does photosynthesis, that time the stomata opens and the oxygen, which is a byproduct of photosynthesis, gets diffused out. But carbon dioxide does not diffuses during the daytime much. The reason because the carbon dioxide, which is produced as a result of respiration, that is utilized by the plant for doing photosynthesis. And of course, water vapor is eliminated out of the stomata during the daytime because transpiration takes place during the daytime. But at night what happens is that the plant does a respiration, because of which now the carbon dioxide gets diffused out through the stomata. Likewise, there are certain openings on the old trunk or the branches of the plant which we call it as lenticels. Now these lenticels are also the opening through which the gaseous diffusion takes place in case of plants. The other solid and the liquid nitrogenous waste which are produced by the plants, they get rid of the plant's body by the shedding of the leaves. Shedding of the leaves, when the leaves shed, along with that, the nitrogenous waste which is in the solid form also sheds or plant gets rid of the solid waste. Similarly, the falling of fruits. When the fruits fall from the tree, during that time also the solid waste also gets the plant gets rid of those waste by means of shedding or the falling of the fruits. You might have seen the bark of the plant, isn't it? The barks gradually, you will see annually, it gets sloughed off because of plant's own process of getting rid of those barks, or sometimes because of some abrasions, because of some storms or something like that. So the bark is also sloughed off. So bark is also the place where the substances, that is the nitrogenous waste, gets accumulated, and it also gets removed from the plant's body. And sometimes in the root hemisphere also the gaseous diffusion of the waste takes place. And raisins and gums are also diffused out from the bark of the plant. So this is how the plant gets rid of the waste, that is by gaseous diffusion, carbon dioxide and oxygen. And the gums and raisins, liquid, that is removal of the waste, and falling of the leaves or the falling of the that is your fruits, or the shedding of the bark in the form of the solid waste getting rid of the plant's body. And of course the diffusion of some waste through the root hemisphere. So that completes the excretion in plants. So with this we have completed our chapter of life processes, in which we have read first nutrition, followed by respiration, then transportation, and today excretion. I hope you have understood the chapter well, and now we will proceed towards our next chapter coming week. Thank you.